This is a SEAWALL inspection in Southwest 62nd Street Avenue in Miami. We're going to inspect the SEAWALL, the cap and the footer. The property length is approximately 140 linear feet. The cap is about 4 foot wide by say 2 feet to 3 feet thick. This survey is conducted by SeaMeDive, SMD, on August 4th, 2014, and we walk down the cap just to show the condition all the way to the west end, and then we're going to show the bottom footer part. Right there you can see there's a crack. It starts in the cinder blocks, goes down through the footer, and separation crack. And the SEAWALL was constructed out of coquina rock, coral rock, with some form of mortar on top of it, at least supposed to be. Right, this is a retaining wall that holds the west side of the property, is given some height, and you can see how the wall is right now pitching and under stress, under load, and therefore it's bowing. You can see the cracks here, and this is mainly because of hydraulic pressure pushing on this wall. And there's another crack right here that is going all the way up and through, and that's again mostly because water rains in this tree over there, and a lot of water pressure pushes the SEAWALL, this retaining wall, excuse me, that is being pushed. Should be allowed to alleviate and release hydraulic pressure. Something like a jet valve would work really well here. So yeah, that's structurally speaking, this retaining wall is definitely under load right now, and is showing stress. It's actually cracking and starting to implode. Alright, we're going to enter the water now. Hopefully not too many creatures that want to bite us. Try not to stir the water. So, very deep. You can see that crack right down here. The coral rock shows holes in it. It's porous, so definitely there's a need to reseal the bottom of the coral rock layer before the footer. Giving a look at the footer in this section on the west side, the footer seems still to be relatively in good condition. There's no serious cracking on it because it's a very beefy and wide, so that's a good thing. Continuing down on the waterline footer for height. Right here I could push my arm about 2 feet in, so it's definitely, the wall is not sealed on the bottom quadrant of it. Right here there's an undercut of about 4 feet wide, and I could stick my arm about 3 feet. So all this needs to be just packed with some riprap bags and sealed with concrete, and that's going to seal the bottom of this portion of the SEAWALL. Continuing in the easterly direction. can see here as well, it's open for about 4 feet, 5 feet, and that creates a load on this top because it basically has no support underneath it. So in the future it will definitely cause a problem, and in another inspection it will come out very clearly. Camera about 2 feet in, so you can see it. Definitely quite a few cavities underneath, and it looks like it's pretty consistent. This is probably due to many years of erosion pushing the soil through the coquina rock. There's that crack that I showed before, that second one, or the first one when I shot the video. It goes all the way down on the camp. That could be repaired as well and would probably bring some strength back, put some rebar reinforcement. Looking at the cap as well from this angle, again you could see there's no strong bowing in it or any signs of it wanting to collapse right now, but there's definitely an undercut in the footer. Right here where I am, you can see there's about 3 feet penetration underneath in the footer. So again, there's an undercut underneath the cap going about 3-4 feet in, and it's probably almost the entire length of the seawall. And that's not unusual, and it's not difficult to bring it back into good condition, but it's definitely an issue of doing some maintenance. Otherwise, if this undercut continues, the top of the cap will fail. A portion of the video, again, I stick the camera in about 3 feet and show you the void underneath the cap here, down at the footer level. Right here, continuing down. You can see how this void is ever fits on the entire length of the seawall. Big pocket. There's a banyan, a wild fig tree here that is grown and definitely has wrapped itself around the cap and his roots, and he's definitely not a great thing for the seawall, and probably not for the pool next to it, but it is holding the ground, so that's one positive thing about them. And right here we're getting close to the border of the property, the eastern border, and at the bottom. Again, the water, there's another crack here in the cap, and you can see right there, there's on the retaining wall, there's a big crack right there that is going actually between the two properties. The two properties share this big crack, and that's because of ground settling, it looks like. So we'll give the seawall a B or a C+. And structurally it's still sound, but it needs to have the bottom footer area either riprap bags and then mortared, or sheet piles and fill it up with concrete, which would be the more expensive route, but definitely necessary to do that as soon as possible, as there is a very obvious undercut underneath the entire length of the wall in big pockets, and it will weaken the structural integrity of the entire wall. As we also mentioned, the retaining wall on the west side of the property is showing some stress load cracks and is definitely under quite a strong load, and that would require repair and addition of some weep valve holes to reduce the hydraulic pressure that is causing this. Again, I don't see any major failure, any buckling. The seawall appears to be sound at the moment. There are some 3 cracks in the cap that go down all the way through, and probably also a result of them not leaving any gaps to allow the concrete to expand. And the seawall appears to be at least 30, 40 years old, and the cap probably maybe a little newer, but there's not going to be much work to be done on the cap except opening those cracks and filling them, and maybe reinforcing with the rebar on the water side to give it some more structural strength. And then the entire work is actually going to be lining up the bottom of this seawall, filling up all those voids with riprap concrete bags, and then allowing it to cure, and then mortaring the entire thing, putting mortar and covering the entire, and making a seal over the entire length of the seawall wherever there is porousness. Okay, this completes our inspection of the seawall, 62nd Avenue, Miami, Florida. Inspection was conducted by SeaMeDive on August 4th, 2014. Thank you.